As a part of microcontroller and its application. Now in this session we will discuss serial communication part 1. That is, in the beginning I will be discussing about basics of serial communication and some RS-232 kind of a standard which is available for serial communication purpose, that we will go through, and drivers like MAX232 so as to interface RS-232 with 8051 microcontroller. So little bit about that driver also we will have discussion. So altogether, as a part of microprocessor or a controller as far as considered, when it communicates with outside world, it provides data in bytes. In some cases, like in for parallel transfer, or maybe in the form of serial data. So 8 bits based on data bus 8 bit, or 16 bit based on if data bus is 16 bit, like that the data is provided. Serial communication is used for transferring data between two systems located at a distances, maybe a few feet, uh, just for the sake where the direct connectivity is possible. Serial communication uses a single data line instead of 8-bit data line of parallel communication. Not because of that, not only it is going to become less expensive, but also it enables two computers located in the two different, uh, say, parts to communicate over the telephone line also. For serial communication, as far as byte of data is considered, it is to be converted to serial bits, maybe using parallel in serial out kind of a shift register as a block we can use, and that it then it can be transmitted over single data line. So all these activities are carried out, and as a part of interfacing applications, like many a times, you will have to control some devices via microcontroller. 8051 is, as a microcontroller, is providing number of options for this kind of a communication, like it may be with the help of direct SFRs available, and by writing code and using interfacing connector like RS-232 via MAX232 driver. So there are different applications where this type of communication is intended and preferred over parallel communication. So we have to understand what exactly it is, how to set baud rate, and all other issues. So as an objective of this session, first of all, we will go through the basics of serial communication. Then we will go through the RS-232 standard. So what are the pins as a connector, how it is useful for serial communication. And then we will have a little, say, discussion about MAX232 as a driver. So in general, uh, there are number of examples where parallel data transfer is taking place, like printers are there, and some other IO devices are there. So in all these cases, lot of data can be transferred in short amount of time by using many wires in parallel, no doubt. But to transfer to a device located far away, so it is not possible, and there comfortably serial communication is used. Serial communication, data is sent one bit at a time, in contrast to parallel communication, in which data is sent in the form of number of bytes. So in general, it uses serial communication uses two methods. One is called asynchronous and another one is synchronous. Generally, when the distance is short, the digital signal can be transferred as it is on a simple wire, and no modulation is required. But otherwise, when it is far away, then definitely the signal has to be modulated. Now, general way, like computers, as far as consider, there is a two types. There are two types, like parallel to first method. Often 8 or more lines wire conductors are there and used to transfer data to device that is only few feet away. And in case of serial, so to transfer device located many meters away, not necessarily always far away. A close device also can take data, with the help of RS-232 cable, a small cable of length few meters, and there may be also serial transfer, but in general via telephone line at distant points also you can transfer the data. So this is a general view how exactly serial transfer and parallel transfer takes place. At the transmitting end, the byte of data must be converted to serial bits using parallel in serial out kind of a register, shift register. At the receiver end, again there is a serial in parallel out shift register, opposite operation, to receive the serial data and pack them into byte. When the distance is short, the digital signal can be transferred as it is on the simple wire and requires no modulation. But if data is to be transferred on the telephone line, it must be converted from zeros and ones to audio tones. This conversion is performed by a device called modem. So it is responsible for performing modulation and demodulation kind of activity. Serial data communication is using two ways, that is synchronous method. It is going to transfer block of data at a time, and asynchronous method it is going to transfer single byte at a time. It is possible to write software to use either of these methods, but the programs can be tedious and long. There are specific IC chips made by many manufacturers, like from Intel also there is a series which is very useful for such communication applications like UART, Universal Asynchronous Receiver Transfer Transmitter, or USART, that is Universal Synchronous as well as Asynchronous Receiver Transmitter. So 8251, 8253. So these are some of the popular devices in the form of integrated circuits, that is UARTs and USARTs, which you can use for such type of transmission application. If data can be transmitted and received, it is a duplex transmission. So if data is transmitted one way at a time, it is half duplex, and data can go both way, then it is full duplex. And whenever there is only one direction, so it is simplex. So here you can see there are three basic forms: simplex, half duplex and full duplex as far as transmission is concerned. A protocol is set, or it is a kind of a rule or agreement between sender and receiver. So how the data is to be packed, what are restrictions, how many bits constitute a character when the data is being transmitted in the at the transmitter side and at the receiver side, how it is collected. Asynchronous serial data communication is widely used for character oriented transmissions. So each character is placed in between start and stop bit. This is called framing in general. Block oriented data transfers that uses synchronous method. The start bit is always one bit, but the stop bit can be one or more bits. Especially 2 bits are also used as stop bits. Like in older system ASCII characters, when 7 bit is data, then 8 bit it is made, and 1 bit is attached. So this is you can use. Uh, the signal is 1 is generally referred as mark, and when it is 0 it is referred as space. So transmission begins with start bit followed by D0, which is LSB, and when the rest of the bits until MSB it continues, and finally one stop bit indicating the end of the character. So that can be connected, inserted. So here you can see stop bit, space, that is 0, mark, that is 1, and start bit, this is actually entering in first place. So 0 is low is referred as a space. In general, when there is no transfer, the signal is high. This is referred as mark state. The transmission begins with a start bit followed by D0, that is the LSB, then the rest of the bits until MSB D7, and finally there is one stop bit indicating end of the character. So this is a simple example. The data is transmitted. So this is ASCII capital A. You can see here 0, 1, 0, 0. So this is representing 4, and 0, 0, 0, 1, that is representing 1. So 41 is ASCII code of letter A. Due to the extended ASCII characters, 8-bit ASCII data is common. In older systems, ASCII characters were 7-bit. Okay, nowadays you can have different combinations. In modern PCs, use of one stop bit is standard. The older systems, due to the slowness of the receiving mechanical device, 2 stop bits were used to give the device sufficient time to organize itself before transmission of the next byte. For example, just see, assuming that we are transferring a text file of ASCII characters using one stop bit, we have total of 10 bits for each character. This gives 25% overhead, that is each 8-bit character with an extra 2 bits. In some systems, in order to maintain data integrity, the parity bit of the character byte is included in the data frame. So UART chips allow programming of the parity bit for odd even and non-parity options. The rate of data transfer in serial data communication is stated in BPS, that is bits per second. Another widely used terminology for BPS is baud rate. It is modern terminology and is defined as the number of signal changes per second. So number of transitions per second in terms of bits, bit transitions per second per unit time. In modems, there are occasions when a single change of single transfers several bits of data. As far as the conductor wire is concerned, the baud rate and BPS are the same and we use the terms interchangeably. The data transfer rate of given computer system depends on communication ports incorporated into that system. Say for example, IBM PC, that is XT Cloud, transfer data at the rate of 100 to 9600 bps. Pentium based PCs transfer data at the rates as high as 56k kbps, and in asynchronous serial data communication the baud rate is limited to 100 kbps. An interfacing standard like RS-232, this was originally invented by Electronic Industries Association, that is EIA, in 1960s. The standard was set long before the advent of TTL logic family. Its input and output voltage levels are not TTL compatible. Remember, input and output voltage levels of RS-232 are not TTL compatible. In RS-232, 1 is represented by -3 to -25 volt, while 0 is represented by +3 to +25 volt, making -3 to +3 undefined. So that is nowhere coming in picture. There are different data communication technology-wise classification. Current terminology classifies data communication equipment as DT, data terminal equipment, DC, data communication equipment, DT, data terminal equipment, DC as data communication equipment or data control equipment like modem, and RS-232 pin functions are going to help for this type of a connectivity. There are mainly 3 pins: TXD, RXD and ground, which are playing important role. So this is RS-232 DB standard. To allow compatibility among data communication equipments made by various manufacturers, an interfacing standard called RS-232 that was invented by EIA in 1960, and in 1963 it was once again modified. Again in 1965 and 1969 also it was updated. We refer to conventionally RS-232 standard. As far as data transfer rate is considered, according to the requirement, we will be setting the baud rate. Now, briefly, these are the pins like protective ground, transmitted data TXD pin, received data, request to send, clear to send, signal ground. In between, there was data set ready. Then data carrier detect, reserved for data testing, pin number 9 and 10. 11 is unassigned. 12 is secondary data carrier detect. 13 is secondary clear to send, 14 is secondary transmitted data, 15 is transmitted signal element timing, 16 is secondary received data, 17 is received signal element timing, 18 is unassigned, 19 is secondary received data, 20 is data terminal ready, 21 is signal quality detector, 22 is ring indicator, 23 is data signal rate select, 24 is transmit and signal element timing, and 25 is unassigned. So this is summary of 25 pins. To ensure fast and reliable data transmission between two devices, the data transfer must be coordinated uh, the way the printer like getting connected and is coordinating. Then there must be way to inform the sender to stop sending data, and many pins from RS232 connector are used for handshaking signals like DTR, that is data terminal ready. You can see here the connector diagram. So 14 to 25 below and 1 to 13 in the upper portion of RS32 connector. So data terminal ready, and in general DC, that is data control equipment, is playing important role. Request to send, when DT device has a byte to transmit, CTS is clear to send, and that is in response to RTS. When the modem has room for storing data, it is to receive, it sends out signal CTS to DT. Then DCD is a carrier detect or data carrier detect. The modem asserts signals DCD to inform DT PC that a valid carrier has been detected and that contact between it and other modem is established. So RI is also, there is a pin, that is ring indicator pin. This particular pin is an output from modem, and input to PC indicates that the telephone is ringing. It goes on and off in synchronization with the ringing sound. Of the 6 handshake signals, this is least often used due to the fact that modems take care of answering the phone. So this is general pin out pins which are used. 9 pin connector we have. So data ready, data carrier detect, DCD pin, then receive data RXD, transmit data TXD, data terminal ready DTR, 5 is signal ground, 6 is data set ready, 7th is request to send, 8th is clear to send, and 9th is ring indicator. Now, one by one, this is a very small description. DT refers to terminal and computers that send and receive data. DC is communication equipment. The simplest connection between PC and microcontroller requires minimum of 3 pins: TXT, RXD, and ground. So this particular connectivity is shown here. Data terminal ready. The terminal is turned on. It sends out the signal DTR to indicate that it is ready for communication. DSR is set ready. So when DC is turned on and has gone through the self test, it asserts DCR to indicate that it is ready to communicate. RTS is request to send. When DT device has byte to transmit, it asserts RTS to signal the modem that it has a byte of data to transmit. Clear to send, when the modem has room for storing the data it is to receive, it sends out signal CTS to DT to indicate it can receive the data now. So data carrier detect and ring indicator already I mentioned. A line driver such as MAX232 chip is required to convert RS232 voltage levels to TTL levels. 8051 has 2 pins that are used specifically for transferring the data and receiving the data serially. That is TXD and RXD as a part of port 3 group P3.0 and P3.1. These pins are TTL compatible and therefore they require a line driver to make them RS232 compatible. What is this compatibility? Because in terms of voltage, RS232 voltage levels to TTL voltage levels we want, and a MAX232 is using plus 5 volt power source, This is same source voltage as 8051, and plus 5 volt power supply. We can power both 8051 and RS232, Max 232. So there is no need for the dual power supplies that are common in many older systems. Now you can have the connectivity. So we need a line driver voltage converter to convert. So here you can see T1 and T1 in and T1 out of Max 232, R1 out, R1 in, T2 in, T2 out, R2 out, R2 in. So this particular useful device is a driver. We call 4 capacitors C1, C2, C3 and C4. So conventionally they are in the range of 1 to 22 microfarad. So most of the times, most widely, 22 microfarad capacitors are used in Max 232 standard as a part. So this is the general structure, and directly from TXD and RXD line of 8051 we can connect it, that is T1 in pin number 11 and 12, that is R1 out, and at the other side 14 pin. So DB9 corresponds to with our RS232 standard, so 9 pin connector, and in between there is a driver. So from Max 232, pin number 14 is T1 out and pin number 13 is R1 in. So whatever is coming on R1 in, that is accepted as R1 out and taken by 8051, and whatever 8051 wants to transmit, that is transmitted from TXD line to pin number 11 of Max 232, and that is T1 in, and that is transferred as T1 out to RS232 standard. So this is the, as far as the overall say kind of a serial communication related requirements. And microcontroller, RS232, DB connector and Max 232 all together, they can perform and give good results as far as simple serial communication is considered. So to save a board space, some designers use Max 233 chip from Maxine. Max 233 performs same operation, same function it provides as Max 232, but eliminates the need for capacitors. So this is one thing which is like for adjustment purpose, voltage and frequency they are used, but in case of Max 233 it is not required. So that advantage also you can get if we use Max 233. Connection wise it is same, pins numbers are little different. Here it is 11 and 10 from 8051 connected to 2 and 3 to Max 233, and 5 and 4 to 2 and 3 of DB9. So as far as serial communication is considered, as we mentioned, we can use half duplex, simplex, full duplex. We can use parallel to serial and serial to parallel shift register. Then we have asynchronous and synchronous two options, and we can use a very good kind of a standard and a driver available in the market, which is TTL compatible with 8051 in the form of RS232 as a standard connector, and with that driver Max 232 or Max 233. So this is all about the primary discussion of serial communication. In the next session we will, as a part 2, that presentation also you refer, we will be discussing about using 8051, how we can transfer the data and what are the provisions made by microcontroller 8051 for serial communication.